Hashtag AskOGman, can you tell me your opinion on consuming healthy oils? I've read about vegans and non-vegans alike who are passionate about eliminating oils from their diets, yet when I think about oils such as coconut, avocado and olive oils, I would assume that these unrefined ancient foods would be a great plant-based source of fat. What's your opinion? Great question, Audrey. Let's get to it. Roll the titles. Welcome back, it's good to see you again. If we haven't met before, then hi, I'm GoGman. I'm currently studying for a Masters in Nutrition and qualifying as a nutritionist, and next year I'll be studying for a PhD in nutritional science. I do daily vegan videos in which I answer your health and nutrition questions under the hashtag AskGoGman. So if you have a question for me, then hashtag AskGoGman in the comments below and I'll pick one of these questions for tomorrow's video. So without further ado, to the question. So I think the best way to tackle this question is to give you 10 health effects in the body which are caused by consuming oils, and of course this will all be backed up by science. And just to state that these are in no particular order. So number 1, oils cause oxidative stress in the body, which is not good if you want to avoid cancer. So when you buy any type of oil, whether it be coconut or olive oil, it has a best before date on the label. This is a date that it needs to be consumed before the product goes rancid and it starts building up what's called oxidation products. Now these best before dates are assuming that the supermarket has followed the best practices and stored the oil in dark, airtight, refrigerated conditions. Light and heat will obviously cause the oil to go rancid quicker. The problem is that most supermarkets never adhere to these standards, so often the oil you bought has already gone rancid. For example, in this study, the researchers looked at a bunch of oils and their best before dates against what their actual best before dates based on the conditions that they had been kept in, if that makes sense. So for example, the walnut oil tested had an expiry date of 12 months, but the reality of it is that the oil had already gone rancid after 2.5 weeks of manufacture. Some oils fared a bit better than others, but the takeaway message here is that you never know the quality of the product that you are consuming. So if you are using rancid oxidized oils to regularly cook your veggies, which the high heat then adds further toxins to the oils, well then you are adding a lot of toxins to your body on a regular basis just by consuming oil. Number 2, oils significantly increase cholesterol levels in the body. For example, coconut oil can significantly increase cholesterol levels in the body just a few hours after consuming a meal high in the oil. And before you say, oh well, that's just a single study, it doesn't prove anything, the impact that coconut oil has on raising LDL cholesterol has been consistently demonstrated in all 7 interventional trials that have been published to date. And in fact, when you drill down into the nuts and bolts of the science, coconut oil will increase LDL cholesterol to the same extent as what butter will. Number 3, oils cause inflammation in the body. Now I'm sure you've all heard that omega-6s and saturated fats are inflammatory in the body and omega-3s are anti-inflammatory in the body. So if you look at the fat composition of common fats, they are either top heavy on omega-6 fats or saturated fat. Now there are a couple of anomalies here such as olive oil, but this is still not good for inflammation in the body because of all the other effects that I will lay out in this video. So if you are wanting to keep inflammation down in the body, adding inflammatory oils into the body is not a good way of doing this. Number 4, oils are bad for endothelial function. So endothelial function is basically a measure of how healthy your artery walls are. So when you damage the artery walls, lesions are created to which cholesterol is sent to patch this area up. So too much cholesterol breaks off, causes a heart attack. We know from the science that oils reduce endothelial function, and despite what you hear online and through social media, extra virgin olive oil, which is apparently heart healthy, is not any less detrimental in damaging endothelial cells in your arteries. Number 5, oils increase insulin resistance in the body. This one is often overlooked when people talk about oils, but insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes is generally caused by intracellular lipids. And what this effectively means is that your cells are blocked with fat, so insulin can't pull glucose into the cell, and then your blood sugar levels rise. Consuming oils on a regular basis has been consistently shown to increase insulin sensitivity in the body, so if you want to avoid type 2 diabetes, either significantly throttle back on the amount of oil you consume, or better still, remove oils from your diet completely.
Number 6, oils impede cellular function.
So there are 2 types of fat that are essential in the body, omega-3 and omega-6, and these fats are essential in cellular function and even in things like immune function. And when you load the body with omega-6 laden oils, it creates a problem in cellular function. And let me explain how. So polyunsaturated omega-6 fats have 2 or more double bonds, compared to the monosaturated fats found in avocados that have only a single double bond. So what, I hear you thinking, it has an extra double bond? Well, the problem is that when you have multiple double bonds, it makes the fat more reactive with oxygen. So if you have cells with lots of omega-6 laden fats and oils, then you are far more likely to have unwanted chain reactions, which will damage the structure of the cell as well as your DNA.
Number 7, oils are loaded with trans fats which cause heart disease and cancer.
So this is another fact that is often overlooked when analysing oils. Trans fats are known to increase heart attack risk, cancer risk and even obesity risk, and it's why the World Health Organization says there's no safe intake level for trans fats, and it's why we should seek to eliminate them from our diets. But the problem with this is that not many people realise that vegetable oils are often loaded with trans fats. In fact, this study found that supermarket bought oils have concentrations of trans fats between 0.56 and 5%, which isn't great at all.
Number 8, oils directly clog your arteries.
So this is one of the common well-known facts about oils in the body. As oils contain saturated fats and omega-6 fats, it raises cholesterol, as discussed earlier, which then goes on to directly clog your arteries. In fact, just to give you an idea of how bad coconut oil is, it contains the same saturated fat profile as butter. Glug butter down your neck for a few years and see what this does for your arteries. But apparently, coconut oil, that's fine. And I always find it funny when people say, well, yeah, coconut oil has medium chain triglycerides, which are good for the body. Okay, so how much of these medium chain triglycerides are actually contained in coconut oil? Well, if you're talking about the healthy caprylic or capric acid, then it's about a total of 16% of the total fat content. A whopping 66% of the fat contained in coconut oil is in the form of lauric acid, stearic acid and myristic acid, all of which are known to be dangerous saturated fats that clog the arteries.
Number 9, oil increases your risk factors for many different diseases.
Higher concentrations of omega-6s in people's diets have been linked heavily to cancer, to suicide rates, as probably because inflammatory fats cause damage to the gut lining and can cause leaky gut, etc., which is probably why those consuming higher amounts of oil are significantly more depressed than those who refrain.
Number 10, yeah, well, Goji man, I only use oil for oil pulling and to help clean and whiten my teeth. So what you got to say about that?
Sorry my friend, I'm afraid oil pulling does little for teeth health, and in fact it can often make cavities a lot worse. So I hope that video helps you, Audrey. As always, for the rest of you, if you have a question for me, then hashtag AskGojiMan in the comments below, and I'll choose one of these questions to answer in tomorrow's video for you. And as always, remember to look after your body, because it's the only place you have to live. And I'll see you next time.